That's awesome. That's awesome that you're able to kind of pull in that tool and be able to continue to get your network and continue to expand on your network with new people every day. I think that's awesome. But going back to a little bit about you said you were able to kind of just go on these Instagram lives or on YouTube and just kind of just chop it up by yourself. For me, it's a little bit. I struggle with that. Just being able to. I feel like I talk for 5 minutes by myself, and it's like it feels like an eternity. Like, how are you able to kind of just continually do that on kind of on your own, where it's just like I can just talk about sports and just freely talk about it, for as long as I need to talk for.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it has to do with just like at the time with the Instagram live, like I had such a large following that I knew every time I went live, I was going to get 500 to 600 people in there. And so people are going to comment and I can just answer questions and things like that. So that helped a lot. But I think just knowing what you're talking about helps a lot. So it's just like if I know I'm going to talk about sports on a podcast, I'm going to like do as much research as possible with whatever the heck we're going to be talking about so that I don't look like a moron whenever I'm being asked questions and things like that. Like for example, like obviously I'm a big Saints fan. I'm hopping on a podcast with one of my good friends, Merv, tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about the Saints and Jameis Winston and all these things. And I'm super excited for that. And that he sends me the questions in advance because like I like to make sure I know what I'm talking about. I like to back up what I'm saying with stats
Mhm.
and analysis and roster history and just all sorts of different things. Um, but being prepared is definitely like the biggest thing. Because if you're not prepared for it, I mean, it's just like a normal job. Like if you're not prepared and you don't know what you're talking about, you're not going to last very long at that job. So I think that helps a lot. It's just preparation and then just being punctual, just like if you say you're going to go live at 6 o'clock, go live at 6 o'clock. Don't go live at 7. Don't go live at 6:30. Don't go live too early. Just go live at 6 because that's when people are anticipating you going live. And then just using the social media to your advantage overall. Um, like for example, like if you're just like I have a pretty consistent following on all of my platforms. Twitter just kind of like exceeds all of them,
Yeah.
but because I'm at like I think I'm at a little over 7,000 on Twitter, but like Instagram I have like a little over 1,000. TikTok I have a little over 1,000, and then what's the other one? Snapchat. I think I don't even know. I don't even know what I have on
Yeah, I mean
Snapchat.
it's all kind of relatively all the same, but
it, yeah,
diving
yeah.
into the kind of the next question about like Twitter, you had a tweet. I mean, I've gone through your profile and stuff. Like, I mean, just 2 weeks ago, you were trending on Twitter with like Freddie Freeman, and then you have a couple tweets that are just constantly just blowing up like every other week. You've kind of got in a little bit. I wouldn't say in the insider game, but it seems like you've kind of cracked the surface a little bit about reporting some things here and there. Just talk a little bit about diving into that insider game, but also, talking a little bit about, you're trending on Twitter and having these awesome tweets. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's wild. It has been a really crazy like past couple of weeks because I feel like I mean that was like my first time trending on Twitter. That was like I mean those were some of my like biggest news stories, and I mean technically I got it wrong if you want to look at that, but not really. I don't know, but yeah, it's been crazy. Like with the Freddie Freeman tweet, like it's just like it kind of goes back to like making connections, like the
Uh,
Seawolves and making connections there. And I've gotten to like make connections with dudes who are now like in front offices and they can hit me up and they can just be like, oh, yo, Mike, this is what's going on. And I'm just like, oh, sweet. And I won't tweet it out if I don't trust it. And I probably shouldn't anymore because I've been gypped a few times and it's been rough for me, but it's okay. I mean, it's all part of the game. Schefter gets them wrong sometimes too, but I don't have like the same resources as like the big guys like Schefter and guys like that. But like I'm doing my best. I'm just a kid in Erie, and people are telling me these things, and I'm just throwing it out there. Um, and I do okay, I think, and I think a lot of it is just like, I mean, you know how social media is. People are just like, I've never heard of you before, so I can't trust you and things like that. Like I just posted a tweet like a few minutes before I even joining this show, and it was about something I heard from somebody who works for the Colts, and they're potentially thinking about like adding Julio Jones. Like there's already been a little bit of interest there, and reuniting him with Matt Ryan, So that's a TO show exclusive right there.
That's
But
awesome. Thank you.
but yeah, so I think it just has a lot to do with like the connections you make and kind of diving into it. It's a risky business because if you're wrong, they're going to let you know that you're wrong
Yeah.
with screenshots and a million messages. And it doesn't matter what you tweet from that point forward. Every single time you tweet anything in the insider game, they're going to bring up the one time you were wrong and things like that. But I've also been happy to like been right about a few things. I was right about you know, the release of Isaiah Wilson last year. I think that's his name. Yeah, the Titans offensive tackle at the time. I was right about Quan Alexander, the Saints linebacker, and his release. And that's like the most rewarding thing ever is whenever you're right about something, and then all the people who told you you were wrong are just like, oh damn, I guess he was right. And that's my favorite thing ever. That's kind of what fuels it. That kind of fuels the fire a little bit. It's just like I love proving people wrong. I mean, I prove my own teachers wrong, things like that. So feel like if you have to prove your own teachers wrong, you can prove anybody wrong. So